Hi guys, it's Kelly and I'm back with another video. Today's video is a super cute, quick card, little scene card using some Picket Fence Studios products. This is the Animal Crackers Merry Christmas Penguins. And then these are actually the Seashore cover plates. I'm using the Slimline one today, but they also have an A2. And this is made to look as if it is the water coming in onto the sand. But we're not going to use it like that today. No, we are not. We're going to use it to make some little glaciers for our penguins to live on. So I am setting this up so that the slimline portion will cut horizontal, even though I'm making a vertical card. And that top portion that is hanging off is going to then become my sky. And you guys know how I roll. Like, I don't like using things for just one season. Like, you can use them for other things. They don't have to be one trick ponies. We're investing in these. Let's get the most use out of them. So I'm going to, this is just cut out of Nina 80-pound solar white cardstock. I'm going to do some distress inking to color the sky, the water, and the snow. But in order to know what needs to be colored what, I kind of have to lay it all out and set it all up. So now, once I can see how it's all going to look laid out together, then from there I can separate out my pieces into knowing what should be what color. I went with a cool, not like, though, I mean, I guess it is awesome. Not like cool, but a cool versus warm color scheme. I went with a cool color scheme. So some blues, blue violets, purples, a little bit of pink, because I typically, the shaded lilac color for distress inks, which is a very soft blue violet, is what my kind of go-to is to shade white snow. I also like speckled egg, but most of the time it's shaded lilac. And so I thought that would be a good color combination. Now, shaded lilac doesn't really have a darker version of itself in the distress line. There isn't like a darker blue violet. So in order to make it a little bit darker, I put down a base of Salty Ocean, and then I am going to put the shaded lilac over top of that. That will give me a little bit of a darker tone for my blue violet. So that as it works its way up the sky, it will go from darker to lighter. So your water is the color that it is because it is reflected by, it's typically reflecting the sky. So that's why when you see these little, what do you even call those? The little like rivets of water that are like coming through here, they're going to be the same colors as the sky. For the shading of the snow, we obviously want the majority of this to be white, but we do want to add a little bit of shading to make it a smidge more interesting. And so that is what you see me doing here. I'm using a super light hand and a bigger brush. I know that the areas are smaller. If you wanted solid color, the paper pouncers would be great for this, but I want it to be soft and blend soft, and so I need to use brushes for that. And then I'm just going to work my way through each color from the blue to the blue violet to the violet to the pink. And I love this. I love this little color scheme. I think it's super cute. This card, I mean, it wasn't clickbait. Like when I was like, quick and cute card, I meant it. We're going to have this whole, well, I shouldn't say the whole background, 85% of the background built like 7 minutes into the video because the majority of it is done with that one die. And if you chose that you didn't want to do ink blending, not everybody loves the look of it or has the dexterity for it. If you chose to cut this out of, solid cardstock, you might even be quicker than that. But I chose to do, you guys know how I like my colors to blend. I like ink blending. I like the way it looks. I think it's pretty. So yeah, we're just going to go through, do our ink blending, and then we're going to move on to the coloring. Some things of note. There was a blog hop that I was part of today for Pink Fresh Studios. They're doing giveaways. That's over on the blog. I will blog this card eventually as well. I'm just not sure if I'll get to it tonight because it's late. I've been getting my videos up later and later just because that's the way my life seems to be working as of recently. Also, we're going to use some Olo markers today. A lot of people don't realize this, but Olos are carried by a lot of stores, and one of them is Picket Fence. And so they actually have their half set on sale, 20% off, which is over $100 savings. So if you have wanted Olos, or that's something that's on your Christmas list, maybe let the love of your life know, like, hey, they're on sale and it's a good deal. And then the other sale I wanted to tell you about, just quick, because it's only 2 days, it's today and tomorrow, is the glass mat that I use. It's Glassboard Studios. Love the glass mat. They are actually allowing us to do 25% off. So everybody always asks me, like, hey, I can't find yours in the store. Mine is custom. So you can choose a custom option, you know what I mean, where you submit your own artwork. That's what I did. My florals are my family's birth flowers. But they have a lot of really good options, and recently they actually did a contest for people to like submit their own artwork, and then they would pick some winners, and they actually picked 2, and they're stunning. One of them is like an alcohol ink background. It's beautiful. I almost was like, do I need a second one? But anyway, so they have some options for you to choose from, or you could do what I did and submit your own artwork. Or you can just have plain. They have black, they have white. I'm not sure what other colors they have. But anyway, there's 25% off if you are in the market for a glass mat. The only thing I don't love about mine is for filming, it is a reflective surface. But as far as usefulness, like if I didn't make YouTube videos, it is fantastic. I use the ruler on it all the time. It's super easy to clean up. It doesn't really matter what I get on it. It cleans right off, which I appreciate, because, you know, oftentimes when you're card making, even like all the ink blending, you know what I mean? You're going through, you got to clean up the last color before you move on to the next color. And I love mine. It was a super good investment. So anyway, so now the background is almost completely built. You can see how this looks like little snowbanks with like the little waters running through it. I love the way that it came out. And now we're going to move on to the stamping. In this little set, and it is a little set, even though it's got so much good stuff in it. And I didn't even use all the penguins. I actually chose penguins that were not specific to Christmas. So there's 2 that are like little ice skating penguins. There's the little penguin that's got his, it looks like a little reindeer stuffed animal, the igloo and the mountain. And then there's 2 other penguins. One is a Christmas tree and one is sitting up next to a stocking. They're adorable. And Picket Fence has a whole bunch of these, they call them animal crackers, where these cute little guys that you can make scenes with, or not, or do whatever you want with them. Anyway, they're cute. So I decided that I didn't want to use the Christmas ones because I wanted it to be more kind of general, but then I went and messed it all up with my sentiment anyway. Oh, I went and messed it all up with my sentiment anyway. But God loves a trier, you know. So, but I did stamp one of the little ice skaters twice, because I'm going to have one that looks like he's heading into the igloo, and then 2 that are kind of playing with each other. So getting into the coloring, I am using my Olo markers today, and because we shaded our snow with the blue violet, we're going to shade our mountains with the blue violet. I also shaded my igloo with the blue violet because it's made out of, you know, ice and snow. So I went in with my darkest color, really just kind of added some shadows around the doorway, inside the doorway, and then around the edges. For the mid-tone, I used the mid-tone to blend out my darkest color, and then I used it to just add one little line down where like the blocks of ice would be meeting. And then I'm going to blend those lines out with my lightest color. And I'm still going to have lots of white area. It's just going to give it some depth and dimension. And I'm going to do the same thing with the mountains. So starting with my darkest color, I don't know that there is a right or a wrong way to color these little sections. I think basically you just got to pick the section that you want to be snow versus the section that you want to be mountain and then color accordingly. I ended up coloring 3 of them. I did them all different because I didn't really think that there was honestly a way that you could do it wrong. So I just went with it. I do want to note with the mountains, so I stamped 2 of them up there. I actually stamped them too close to each other because the die cuts out more. It stamps the peaks, but it cuts out more mountain underneath it, which is great because it allows you to, get some more height out of them. But I didn't realize it when I stamped them. I hadn't looked at the dies, and so I stamped them too close together. So I will end up having to stamp another, like that one on the left is not going to get used just because they were just too close. But I did end up using 3 mountains total for their little, like the coloring of their little outfits. They are drawn in a way that you could either color their little bodies as if they were like in little snowsuits, or you could color them with just the scarves. I chose to do just the scarves. I'm going to show you how I did that. It's super simple, but you could, that way there's 2 different options. So you could color them all up as if they were like snowsuited, or you can color them as traditional penguins. I just chose, again, some colors that we had already seen in the background. The only additional color that I added was like a tealish green, and teal works well with pink, works well with violet, and works well with blue. So there was no reason not to use it as as an accent color. And then I brought in some more traditional blue because I needed another color to color their outfits. But I mean, for the most part, I'm going to be very honest with you. I used 3 colors and you don't need them. You could literally go in here with 1 color for each thing because there's just not a lot of real estate. You could use 1, maybe 2 colors. 3 is definitely overkill. That's me though. So anyway, that's that. Now, once their little headgears and scarves and what are those? Ice skates are colored up. This is where we're going to go in and do the bodies. So I did my lightest shading first, which is the white. And I went around their little faces because that scarf is going to cast a shadow. And then what you see me doing here is just basically making a little U shape because the scarf would cast a shadow on its belly. But then I'm adding shading to the left and the right. How I'm figuring out where my shading should go is by looking at their little legs. So where their little legs are meeting their body, there's like little indents drawn in. And so I started my belly where that indent stopped. And now that I have the C3 and the C1 down, I'm going to go in with a C7 and I'm going to then fill in that outside area. So leaving the belly white, coloring the rest of the body a dark gray. And then once I have it filled in, I'll go back in with my C9 and just add that, which is almost black, to the darkest parts. So like where their wings, are they wings? Yeah, they gotta be wings. They're birds. I mean, they're flightless birds, but they're birds, right? Anyway, where their wings are meeting their body or behind their scarf, like that would be darker. So that's how I created their little bodies. This reindeer, should this little reindeer be brown? Yeah, absolutely. Was I trying to make a quick card with the least amount of markers? Yeah, I was. Like, that's just real talk. Sometimes it's just that way. And so I decided to do him like a light gray because, I don't know, maybe instead of a reindeer, he's, what else has antlers? Moose? Mooses? Moosei? Is that like syllabus and syllabi? Mooses. Moosei. Somebody. I'm going to Google it. Anyway, totally sidetracked. Something else to know. I have told you guys recently that I had not found a tape that I loved. Scratch that. Pixie tape is where it's at. This is my new, I have not had it rip my paper yet. It makes me super happy because I tape a lot of things. and it's great. This little pink pixie tape, fantastic. So anyway, I've gotten all my dies out now. I'm going to go through and die cut everything. These little mountains, I did want to add a little bit of shading to the bottom, so I'm going to go back in with that shaded lilac. Again, super light hand. I'm not taking it super far up the mountain, just enough so that the base of it has a little bit of a shadow. And at this point, I only had 2 mountains because I had planned to do just like one side of it, but it didn't really look balanced and I didn't love it. So I was like, well, do I leave it like this or not? Honestly, it would have been okay. It really would have been okay. But ultimately, I decided that I was going to do a third mountain that was just going to be a little bit shorter. So I'm going to have taller mountain ranges on the left and right hand side, and then I will do a shorter mountain range that's more left to center. Just so that it didn't look like they were all exactly the same height and it was just a repeating pattern. All of my little guys already know where they're going to live, so I'm going to go ahead and glue those down before we do like the cute little details. And truly, the cute little details are really, really easy to do. I typically go in with like a white gel pen and we'll add little details to like their scarves and their hat. You could totally do that. That would be great. But I wanted it to look like it was snowing. And so I didn't want to add more patterns in there when I knew that I was just going to be flicking white all over the top of it. So, but you absolutely could do that. And you could go in with like a glitter pen, even on the water, that would be great. So anyway, once I have these little mountains done, I'm going to trim off the sides so everything is flush in an A2 card. And then I'm going to go in and add the shadows. You guys, if you watch my scene cards, you know I will tell you that you have to ground your images so they don't look like they're just floating. So I'm going back in with those same blue-violet colors that we used for the mountains and the igloo. And I'm putting a little shadow underneath my characters as well as my little igloo. I'm going to blend out the darkest color with my mid-tone, just going over it and then slightly outside of it. And then finally I'll go in with my lightest color. One of the fun little details to kind of set the scene apart is the footprints. And they're adorable and they make a huge impact on a scene like this. But they look hard, but they're not. They're not. So I'm going to go in with my darkest color, and you want to make dots, circles, ovals. That's a better way to put it. So what I do is I just kind of push down the tip of my marker so it makes a little oval, but you want to do them slightly offset, like how you would walk. You know, it's one step and then one step and one step and then one step. So they should be slightly offset from each other. And then, like you could see, I kind of drew a little path, but then where they're playing, I just did kind of random footprints all over. Then I'm going to go in with my lighter color. I'm going to go right over top of that darker color and just press down a little bit more firmly so it kind of extends out past it. And this will create these cute little footprints. I did this years ago. I have a video years and years ago that I actually did. It was a lawn fawn set. And that's one of my most popular videos. And it's got these adorable little footprints in it. So that's how you do them. They're really easy. For the sentiment, I was a little bit torn. I wasn't sure if I wanted to use a larger sentiment from a different set or if I wanted to use one of the smaller ones from this set. I knew that I was going to want to blend it so that it matched the scene. So that's what you see me doing here. I chose not to heat emboss it. I just decided to go with the black because everything else is stamped in black. And I chose to do a longer, slightly larger one and then the smaller one. So the longer, slightly larger one is actually from the Christmas Joy stamp set. And it says jolly good times to you, which I thought was totally fitting. Like they're playing in the snow. They're adorable little penguins. Like they are having a jolly good time. I don't have a jolly good time in the snow, but I'm a different breed. Anyway, and then I chose to do a smaller one that says good times are ahead this holiday season. Again, very kind of playful. I just went in, once I had stamped them, just went in and trimmed them out with my paper trimmer to a little like label and a square. This was super easy to do. If you don't have a trimmer like mine, or you're not confident in your ability to do that, you absolutely could use a square die or a rectangle die. So here's the longer one. It's okay. I didn't love it. So the smaller one kind of fit more into the scene, and I liked this one a lot better. So I decided I was going to go with that. Here, this is the third mountain, and right now it's just die cut. In order to make it a little bit shorter, I laid it there, saw which one of the lines it was closest to, lined it up in my paper trimmer. I'm going to hold it very firmly so it doesn't move, and then just trim off the edge. And then there, that will fill in my little mountain range around my little glaciers that my penguins are on. And again, I'm going to do just very soft ink blending on the bottom. I didn't even get any more ink. I just used what was left on the brush. Then I'm going to glue these down, and then we will be ready to do our snow. I told you guys this was this was a quick one. Normally when like my videos are, like 30 minutes long, I'm editing that down from like 2 hours or 3 hours of video footage. True story. It's crazy. But this one really, like the whole card, which is a fast card. I know it's not for everybody, but it's a fast card for me. Really only took me like an hour. I mean, and considering all we've done, I think that's pretty good. So here, I wish I could remember where I saw this because I'd love to give them credit. But I think it was in a reel. I placed the stamp for my sentiment over the sentiment so I don't get any of the spatter on there and make it illegible. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Works great. But I can't remember where I saw it. If I see it again, I'm going to make sure that I make note of their name so that I can tell you because it's so smart. It's not my idea. It's somebody else's super smart idea. So I did 2 different versions of snow. I did one with the picket fence, what is it? Paper splatter watercolor. This is the white snowflake. This one mimics kind of perfect pearls. You'll be able to see it catch the light here. And then I also used the Copic opaque white ink. One is shimmery and one is a solid white, and I love the combination of the two together. It doesn't distract from the scene, it adds to it. And then that's it. That's the whole card. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Remember, if you are looking to get those Olos 20% off. I always appreciate your time. Thank you for spending it with me, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Bye.